Cutting for the first time or doing the first diet in general can be quite challenging, but also quite interesting. Our natural tendency as humans to seek shortcuts and easy ways can lead to all kinds of wrong ideas and missteps and problems on the way. Today I will show you what typically goes wrong and what should be avoided, both for lifters and for people that just want to lose some weight and be more healthy. But without further ado, let us dig into the map of weight loss, so to speak. And as often, we start at the bottom left of the map with an initial experience. Maybe you want a significant other and feel like your chances at getting a partner are quite low with your current looks, or you are just not content with your reflection in the mirror, or you generally want to be more healthy, or develop serious health problems like diabetes. Who knows? What gets you into all of this doesn't really matter, but the progress from there on more or less always looks the same. We start with wanting to lose weight, therefore we do what the fit people do, and this is oftentimes doing cardio to lose weight. This isn't the best idea, since cardio only burns a moderate amount of calories, and if you do not change your eating habits, you won't lose that much weight. Further, it is not very healthy for your joints when you are very overweight, and most people choose running, for example, which is especially problematic when you weigh more than 100 kilograms, for example. It can even cause a lot of pain with 80 kilograms and above. After that, many people will realize, well, cardio on its own won't work, and we need other measures. Thus, they opt in for some meme diets, as I call them. Those are very, radical forms of diet, not necessarily with a big deficit, but they, for example, cut out certain food groups, like the cabbage soup diet, or all the other forms of diet that have been promoted throughout the 90s in all those magazines for weight loss, for example. Those diets aren't very good because they aren't very convenient for most people, and thus they won't work in the long run. Well, after that, many people will try to use spot reduction. They don't actually want to be slim everywhere, they just want to be slim at the belly area, because belly fat, for some reason, is most unattractive for most people. And thus they want to lose fat just there. But it doesn't work like that. The human body just burns fat wherever it wants to burn fat, and it's largely genetic, so you can't do much about it. Either you lose fat everywhere or nowhere. The next step on the list are crash diets. The progress you made thus far isn't fast enough. Thus, you drastically reduce the calories by thousands of calories in comparison to before. This will work at first, or it will seem like it works, but your body will very fast adapt to the changes. If it did not, our evolutionary ancestors would just die out. Our energy expenditure will always approach our energy intake if that is possible. And thus, our energy expenditure will be drastically reduced due to the crash diet. And you will plateau soon. Maybe after losing 10 to 15 kilograms of body fat. After that, you can't lose anything anymore, in most cases. Some people are very lucky, but most people aren't. And after that, most of the time, people start getting frustrated and start binge eating to a degree and gain a good amount of weight back. This is known as the yo-yo effect. And it's often what keeps people from attaining a good diet, a combination of crash diets and binge eating. After that, maybe fasting will be tried out with some success. But in the end, fasting is also not very sustainable for most people. It is a form of hunger management, like intermittent fasting, that works for some people, but not for everyone. And it also has to be paired with a proper caloric deficit. Fasting on its own is nothing magical, even though many people want you to believe that. In the end, it is calories in versus calories out, or rather calories absorbed versus calories used, to be very precise, because the values change a little bit. After that, they might want to start and learn something about weight loss instead of doing just the first best thing that comes to mind, and they start educating themselves on platforms like YouTube or Reddit, or start reading some books on fat loss that might be pretty good. With that in mind, with the additional education, they might enter a sustainable deficit that most people recommend. For example, they just go to a deficit of 300 to 500 kilocalories, which works pretty good for the long run even, because the total daily energy expenditure won't downward adapt too much. They might even start tracking their progress, which makes it a lot easier not to cheat yourself when dieting. Thus, you are always accountable and can make more progress. And with a lot of consistency, you can even approach a pretty good body. And this is more or less the end of a typical diet path. Most people do not want to get the dream body or want to get shredded or below 10 or 8% body fat. A good body is more than enough, and this is actually what most people desire or find most attractive. The very, very low digit body fats are just for other guys most of the time that want to compete to look the best, even though most people do not desire it. Okay, but let us now have a look at how it can be done properly. The green areas are what can be left out, what you shouldn't do. And the other areas on the path are what you should do. And the path still starts at the same point as before, a very good path, with wanting a significant other or other health problems or things like that. But then you directly work on your YouTube fat loss and financial education, no matter where it comes from, but you have to know what you should do. You might immediately start counting calories and enter a sustainable deficit. Compared or combined with weightlifting and proper hunger management and progress tracking and a very deep knowledge on how things work, you can actually make very fast progress. At least you can avoid a lot of mistakes. And with a lot of consistency, you can get a good body relatively fast, or even your dream body, or even get shredded if you should want that. And meme diets, cardio for weight loss, spot reduction, crash diets, binge eating, fat burners, and even fasting and over-adaptation are all things that can be avoided. And you can save so much time by doing things right from the beginning. And you can also avoid a lot of suffering if you want that. Okay, but let us now come to the most important points. Most weight loss mistakes happen at the beginning. This is normal, as most people start with little knowledge and no frame of reference. If you are lucky, you know a friend who already did lose a lot of weight successfully, who can help and educate you. Try to learn from other people's mistakes and avoid crash diets and blaming specific food items, for example. Those things simply do not work. In the end, it is a caloric balance. And the real enemy always is a failure to properly manage hunger. All diets are forms of hunger management. Those things that leave you full and satisfied, those kinds of diet, those are the right kinds of diet for you. It is best if you do not even feel that you are in a deficit. And moderation and hunger management get 90% of the job done. Direct your energy and willpower and discipline where it really matters. Do the time-tested things and not the most modern hype that promises fast results. Since decades, people try to sell you a get fit quick scheme just as much as they sell you get rich quick schemes. They do not work and they prey on your impatience. Anyway, this is pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave me a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you feel like I missed something, please let me know in the comment section so that other people can benefit from your wisdom. But until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.